Hey, what's up YouTubers, and welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts video. It's a lazy Sunday here at the Walnuts compound in the great state of Wisconsin. I was doing a little cleaning over the weekend and I was going through my Criterion releases, and I wanted to do a spotlight on Akira Kurosawa and his movies that were part of the Criterion collection. I'm also going to do a spotlight on Alfred Hitchcock, and I'll be doing a complete Criterion collection overview video as well. But I wanted to kind of do a deep dive into Kurosawa's movies, and we'll talk a little bit about him and his movies. So if that interests you, get yourselves relaxed to get a beverage and a snack, and let's check out these Akira Kurosawa movies. Okay, so we will dig into the career of Akira Kurosawa, who was born in 1910 in Tokyo, Japan. He originally wanted to become a painter, and he did paint for a little bit, but his love for movies drove him to start directing films. And he started to direct in the early 1940s, just at the start of World War II. Is when he started to make his first movies. He directed all the way through until the early 90s, and his last movie was 1993. He passed away at the age of 88 years old in 1998. And he had about 30 plus titles to his illustrious career credits. I think I have about 10 or 12 of them here on the bed. I'm going to show you all of what I have today. We're going to go through and kind of talk a little bit about these movies and the great career of one of the greatest directors ever, in my opinion. I'm sure a lot of you would agree with me on that. So the first one here that I have is called Rashomon. And this was a movie from 1950. And for those of you who like these spy numbers, this is spy number 138. And I think most of these, if not all of these movies, are only available in Japanese language with English subtitles. But do not let that stop you from watching. These movies are amazing. And he definitely was one of the greats. This one had a running time of 88 minutes, black and white, mono in Japanese with English subtitles. And the thing I loved about, or I do love about Criterion, is they always have the best prints in the game. I mean, they have a lab where they crank out, the best prints for the movies that they release. And these are top shelf when it comes to quality. You're not going to find any better than Criterion. There are several companies that are on the same level as Criterion, but nobody better. And you can see here the bonus features that they have for Rashomon. You can listen to the monorail soundtrack. I believe you can listen to it without watching the movie. They have audio commentary with a Japanese film historian named Donald Ritchie. There's interviews, a 68-minute documentary, which, I mean, that's pretty significant. There's archival interviews, which I love that too. I love it when they have new interviews, and I like to see some of the earlier interviews. And it has trailers, and you get a booklet. So, all in all, one of the downfalls for the Criterion label is they are very pricey. Now, you do get what you pay for. It's high quality. Usually when these come out, when the movies first come out, they're $40. But if you are wise, and twice a year, Criterion has 50% off sales. So I never buy any of these movies at regular price. I wait until there's a 50% off sale. Usually Barnes & Noble will have it. Sometimes they have it on their own website. I would go over to their website and join their mailing list, so they email you and you'll get the heads up when they do have 50% off sales. definitely take advantage of that, because you can get these gems for 20 bucks. Also on Amazon, they are usually much lower in price. They're not exactly 50% off, but you can get a lot of these movies much cheaper than you can at a Barnes & Noble. So definitely always, keep that in your mind. If you're a collector, you want to try to save as much money as you can along the way. You don't want to pay collector's prices for these movies. But definitely do go check out the Criterion website, sign up for their newsletter, give them your email, and they will give you info when 50% off sales come up. Sometimes they have flash sales, so nobody really knows. All of a sudden one day you'll just get an email and say, Criterion's having a 50% off sale for 24 hours only. And you can go over there and get a couple things, and there's no limit to what you can save. So if there's a box set that's $200 or $300, you can get it for $100 to $150, and it's really, really worth it. So that's my advice to you, especially to my friends who are overseas. These are very pricey, not only just for the price of the movie, but also for the shipping. I feel bad for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys out there are great collectors and you want to add some of these to your collection, but it's very expensive. But just keep your eyes on the sales, and buy in bulk. Instead of just buying one title at 50% off, start saving your money now. And when a 50% off sale hits, maybe get 5 or 6 or 10 titles, whatever you feel like you can afford. I'm not putting any pressure on you. I'm just saying that's the best way to save money for a growing collection. So I'm going to pause it here, and we're going to move on to the next title. The next title here is called Ikiru from 1952. This one was a little different for him. He usually has a lot of martial arts or Japanese samurai. This is by number 221. I don't know if you can see it because that bag seam is in the way. But that is 221. No jokes about bag seams, please. So this one is 143 minutes running time. That's a long movie. Black and white in Japanese language. And just look at all these bonus features you get. It's newly restored into 4K digital transfer. You get audio commentary from 2003, an author of The Warrior's Camera, the cinema of Akira Kurosawa. A message from Kurosawa for Beautiful Movies 2000. A 90-minute documentary produced by Kurosawa Productions and featuring interviews with the director. You also get a documentary on Ikiru from 2003, created as part of the Toho Masterworks series, Akira Kurosawa. It is wonderful to create, and featuring interviews with Kurosawa script supervisor Nogami. I don't want to really get into a lot of pronunciations of names because I don't want to embarrass myself any further than I already do. But you do get a booklet and all that good stuff. So they're calling this one of the greatest achievements by Kurosawa. Ikiru shows the director at his most compassionate, affirming life through an exploration of death. So that's another thing I really loved about Kurosawa. He wasn't just one-dimensional. I mean, he had a pretty good variety of movies, but I have to admit I do love his samurai stuff the most. And I think that's pretty much what put him on the map. But he was very versatile, and he was able to entertain just other groups of film fans than just these samurai people. But that is Ikiru from 1952. The next one is possibly my favorite Kurosawa movie, and this is the Great Seven Samurai from 1954. This movie is amazing, and there was an American remake of this called The Magnificent Seven in 1960, which in its own right was a great movie. But this was where it started, and this is probably, like I said, this may be his best movie. I don't know. He has so many good ones, though. But this is one I really, really enjoy. This one comes in kind of a digipack here. I'll show you. I'm going to take it apart and show you what's inside this box set here, but I wish this phone would work with me a little bit more. It's spine number 2. I don't know if you can see that, for what it's worth. And kind of a thin outer shell. And then you get a digipack style packaging on the inside here, and there's a thick book. We'll go through that too. But this is what the digipack looks like. This movie is so good. Here's disc 1. This is the film. And disc 2, as far as I remember, Criterion was the first company that dedicated a second disc for bonus features, and they always called it the supplements. I know other companies did it shortly after, but as far as I remember, Criterion was the first company that dedicated an entire disc for bonus features. Other companies would kind of tack it on to like the end of the movie on one disc. There are the chapter stops if you're interested in that. If you've never seen this movie, definitely do check it out. You will really enjoy it. And we'll just kind of flip through the book here. You got the cast and crew, some table of contents here going on. Some really beautiful images. And this movie in black and white looks really, really good. I've really become to love black and white movies as I get older. Very, very excellent movie. It's impossible to give a movie a 10 out of 10. I mean, I don't know if I have ever given a movie 10 out of 10. I know Shawshank is up there. I would give this movie a solid 9 out of 10. But I love the movie, so. I think I gave Goodfellas a 9 out of 10 as well, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Donnie Brasco probably. Anyway, we don't want to get into all that stuff. This is strictly for Akira Kurosawa and his movies, so definitely check out Seven Samurai if you haven't. The next one is from 1957 called Throne of Blood. This one is spine 190. I don't know if you're going to even be able to see that. 190. "109 minutes running time." And again, you get a ton of bonus features here. This is a 2K scan. You get audio commentary with a different Japanese film expert, Michael Jack. You get a documentary on the making of the film, created as part of the Toho Masterworks series Akira Kurosawa. It is wonderful to create. You get 2 alternate subtitle translations by Japanese film translator Linda Hoagland and a Kurosawa expert, Donald Ritchie. And you get a booklet inside. This is a vivid, visceral Macbeth adaptation after the Shakespeare play. The next one, I had a lot of fun with this one. I only watched it once, but I remember really enjoying it. This one is kind of an action adventure type movie called The Hidden Fortress from 1958. Spine number 116, 116. And let's see here, 139 minutes. These movies are really long, but they're fun. Look at all this bonus materials again here. This time you get another 2K scan. You get an alternate 3.0 surround sound. You get new audio commentary by historian Stephen Prince. You get a documentary from 2003 on the making of this film. And you get an interview from 2001 with filmmaker George Lucas about Kurosawa. And you get a booklet. Here's a little bit of the synopsis here. It says, a grand scale adventure as only Kurosawa could make. The Hidden Fortress stars the, I don't know how to pronounce that, Toshiro Mifune as a general charged with guarding his defeated clan's princess as the two smuggle royal treasures across the hostile territory. This was pretty entertaining. I would recommend this one to just about anybody. I mean, it's not violent or anything like that. It's some of these other samurai movies can be quite violent, but this one is, I would even say, family friendly. What did they give this for a rating? I'm curious. I would say probably PG-13, but it doesn't have a rating. I don't know if, I'm not sure how the Japanese rating system works, but these are on American label Criterion, so usually they would have a rating. But I would say this is like PG or PG-13. Okay, so the next one, there's two actually. They come in this box set. It's Yojimbo and Sanjuro. And they came out in 1961 and 2, I think. Let me see here. Yojimbo came out in 1961. Sanjuro came out in 1962. There was a little bit of, and these movies are excellent too, by the way. These, there was a little bit of kind of controversy, I guess, after Yojimbo was released, and it achieved a lot of success. Sergio Leone, who was another great director, he was more in the spaghetti western genre. He tried to get the rights for a remake of Yojimbo, and he was gonna film that movie, but he wasn't able to secure the rights. I don't know what the reason was. I don't know if they turned him down or what, I don't know. So he ended up basically making, it was one of the Dollars movies, I think was for a few dollars more, or it was either a fistful of dollars or a few dollars more that he made that was pretty similar to Yojimbo. It wasn't act for act exactly the same movie, but I think there was a lawsuit about that. But these movies are really good, and I'm gonna take them out of the box and we'll take a better look here. This is a really nice box set. The box itself, it's not extremely, protective. It seems like it's a little weak, but it looks great. From what I remember, and I watched these a couple years ago, or a few years ago now, probably more like 10 years ago. That's how fast time is going. I remembered Yojimbo being a little bit more kind of on the comedy side. Not really a comedy movie, but it did have some comedy relief in it during certain scenes. And then with the success of Yojimbo, Kurosawa came out with Sanjuro a year later, and it was a little more serious from what I remember. But they're both excellent movies. I would recommend both of these, but check out what you get for bonus features here. Let's see, audio commentaries, documentaries on the making of Yojimbo and Sanjuro, created as part of the Toho Masterworks. You get theatrical teasers and trailers, still galleries, booklets. But the most important thing to me, the supplements, as they call them, or bonus features or special features, whatever you want to call them, those are nice. They really are, but those are just the bonus for me. To me, the picture quality and the preservation of these legendary movies is the most important part, and that's what I really love about what Criterion does. So let's take a look here at these covers. So you get the disc, you get a booklet. I'll go through one of the booklets really quick just to kind of show you what you can expect. Push that off to the side. And, Criterion always gives you bang for your buck, because they know they're expensive, but to preserve these movies and to put them in these nice sets for us to buy, it's not cheap. I think $40 for a Blu-ray is probably worth it for movies like this, but wouldn't you rather pay $20 if you can? So just keep an eye on those sales. You can come up with a huge Criterion collection for half the price, literally. So I'm gonna pause it here, put the stuff back, but these two movies I definitely would recommend. Start with Yojimbo and then dive into Sanjuro. Have a nice little double feature on a rainy Sunday or something. You will not regret it. This next one here is called High and Low from 1963. And I thought this movie was really good too. You can see a different side of Kurosawa. This is more like of a suspense movie. And he was right up there with like Alfred Hitchcock type directing in this movie. It's about a kidnapper who's trying to negotiate. Hold on, before we get into that, this is spy number 24. 143 minutes running time. And we'll take a look at the supplements. It's a 4-track soundtrack. Is that what they're saying? Audio commentary. You get a 37-minute documentary on the making of High and Low. You get rare video interviews with actor Mifune from 1984. You get an interview with actor Yamazaki and a booklet, of course. And here's the synopsis. Mifune is unforgettable as Gondo, a wealthy industrialist whose family becomes the target of a cold-blooded kidnapper. In High and Low, the highly influential domestic drama and police procedural, adapting Ed McBain's detective novel King's Ransom, Kurosawa moves effortlessly from compelling race-against-time thriller to exacting social commentary, creating a diabolical treatise on class and contemporary Japanese society. And I thought this movie was pretty good. It keeps you interested throughout the movie. It's a very long movie. What did I say? It was 143 minutes, so it's like 2.5 hours long almost. Just short of, but it was well worth the watch. I would check out High and Low. This next one here, to me, is a definite must-own in your collection. If you don't have any Criterion movies or you don't have any Kurosawa movies, start with Seven Samurai, grab this one, grab Yojimbo, but definitely check these movies out. This was from 1980, and this is kind of a samurai slash ghost story. It works. It sounds silly, but it works. And the spy number here is 267. Again, it was from 1980. It's 180 minutes, 3 hours long. And look at all the bonus features you get on this one. So you get audio commentary. You get a 41-minute documentary on the making of this film. You get a 44-minute video piece reconstructing Kagemusha through Kurosawa's paintings and sketches. I think I mentioned that earlier, that he wanted to be a painter early in his career, and he's a very, very talented painter. But thank God he started directing movies too. So you get a Suntory whiskey commercial made on the set of Kagemusha. And the quick synopsis here, it says, when a warlord dies, A peasant thief is called upon to impersonate him and then finds himself haunted by the warlord's spirit as well as his own ambitions. Really, really recommend Kagemusha. This is a fun movie. This one's in color, I believe. Yes, 1980. This one's in color. The next one here is a DVD. It comes in this fat pack. The movie is from 1985 called Ron, and this was the special edition. Includes a feature-length documentary. This was a really nice edition, and this was spine number 316. I don't think you're going to be able to see that, but we'll try. Yeah, 316. And it's a 2-disc set. So for disc 1, you get the movie. This was newly restored. I don't have this on Blu-ray, but I definitely would like to upgrade this. Disc 2 is they call it supplements. You get AK, obviously that's his initials, a 74-minute film by director Chris Marker, and you also get a 30-minute documentary on the making of Ron. You get a 35-minute video piece reconstructing Ron through Kurosawa's paintings and sketches. You get a video interview and a 28-page booklet. 160 minutes running time. This was one of his later works, and I would recommend this too. If anybody knows if this has a Blu-ray upgrade, comment below. I'd like to check that out. And the last Kurosawa film that I own, and the last one for this video, is from 1990 called Dreams. And this was one of Kurosawa's last 3 movies that he made. This was obviously this one, and there was another one that he did in 1990, and his last one was 1993. And for whatever reason, those 3 movies were panned. They were not really well received, and it's unfortunate because he had such a great, strong career for it to, I guess, sort of taper off at the end. And like I mentioned earlier, he died in 1998, so 5 years after his last film, he passed away. But he will always be remembered through these great films that he made. This was spine number 842. You see that there? And I will admit this was not one of his better movies, but I still found enjoyment in it. 120 minutes, and look at all these bonus features you get. There's new audio commentary. There's a 150-minute documentary, if you can wrap your head around that. A 150-minute documentary. So that's like 2.5 hours, right? Close. You get more new interviews. You get a 50-minute documentary by Kurosawa's longtime translator. Man, I mean, they really give you your money's worth with Criterion. Unfolding in a series of 8 mythic vignettes, this late work by Kurosawa was inspired by the beloved director's own nighttime visions, along with stories from Japanese folklore. I don't know why this movie was panned. I really don't. Unless the only thing I could really think of is he set the bar so high for himself that even if it was just a step down from some of those masterpieces that I showed you earlier, he was never really gonna achieve that same success again. I mean, he set the bar so high that it was almost impossible to even meet that and definitely exceed that. But I still enjoyed Dreams. I think it's definitely worthy of a watch, and obviously I think it's worthy of a buy. I have it in my collection. So we'll do a quick recap and we'll end the video. So, what is your favorite Kurosawa movie? And where would you rank him among the greats? I definitely think he's top 5. And if I had to pick a favorite and you had to hold me to it, I would say Seven Samurai. But there are so many good ones, but that's the one that sticks out for me. These are all very entertaining movies. So that will wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe I gave you some suggestions. If you have any for me, leave them below. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you next time.